I really want to talk about spectatorism because so many people are wasting their life away just living precariously through the media that they consume instead of conditioning themselves to disassociate from, getting that dopamine, getting that sense of satisfaction and accomplishment from watching someone else do something when they could actually go out there and do it themselves. Now, one way that this is affecting you is that you're being conditioned to settle for less, and you really just are. Like, you're on Instagram scrolling through, watching all these people have fun. Oh, look at these girls are so beautiful. Oh, I wish I was out with my squad, squad goals. But like, why aren't you actually going out and doing something? Say your friends aren't available, why aren't you going out and doing something yourself? Why are you precariously living through these people online? Why do you continue to watch them live their lives online? Why don't you shut that out and then go do something yourself? Like, literally, what benefit does scrolling on Instagram, scrolling through TikTok, scrolling on YouTube, turning on Netflix, going to a movie theater, and watching someone else live life do to you? Give you a sense of, oh wow, I got to watch an adventure and a story. It was cooler than what I got going on. I was bored, so because I'm bored with my life, I want to watch someone else live their life and do something because it's more exciting. That consistent loop over time starts to cause you to take yourself off a pedestal and depreciate your own life's experience. You become a spectator of other people. Now, I'm not saying stop watching things altogether. I'm just saying know where to draw the line, know where to catch your blind spots. I don't watch it and say, oh, well, wow, I wish I was, living that life. That's a really cool reality that they created. If only the world was really like that. No, I go out and I do something. I do something within wherever I'm at, I don't sit there and go into a DIR state, limit my life's experience in the moment by getting sucked in to the video. Right now, just where I'm at, I hear a lawnmower, leaf blower. I hear cars on the highway. Someone just closed a trunk, probably, slammed pretty hard. I hear birds. I hear a very slight breeze rustling in the trees. Right now, my life's experience with what little I can just hear is so lit, is so fulfilling. Because I haven't watered that down through being like, well, it's not like when I was watching the Jungle Safari or when I was, watching something where someone else was on a litter adventure. No, I don't depreciate my own experience of life moment to moment because I drown myself in spectatorism. I purposefully, like I mentioned, disassociate the way I consume content with the way I look at life. And I feel like a lot of people don't take that time to do so. They watch it just for instant gratification. They're like, oh, I'm bored. I need something to drown me out of my boredom right now. I don't like feeling bored. It makes me feel uncomfortable, And that spectatorism over time, like I said, conditions you. Repeated exposure to you precariously living through someone else, through media, whatever form it may be, is just causing you to be like, oh, well, I'll be happier when I'll be like that person, experiencing what I'm seeing them experience now. But for now, I'll just enjoy watching their adventure. It's stimulating me. It's better than my baseline of feeling like I don't want to feel like I was when I was bored and in my head and stuck there. I want to be able to raise my dopamine up by like a little attention through this media that I'm consuming. And then you feel like that's a win. You're like, wow, I felt good after that. So then you do it again. You do it again. Think of how much time you'd spend on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, watching someone else you may even know doing something lit. You're like, wow, that person's doing that lit thing. I wish I was doing that. Well, yeah, go do it. One of the big things, aside from the conditioning aspect, is spectatorism limits the amount of permission that you give yourself to take action. Because you're, over time, satisfying yourself by watching other people do stuff, you take away from your own drive to go take that massive action, to really step outside of the confines of whatever you're using to consume the media. You're like, okay, the fun is in the media. If I'm not consuming media, I am bored. Nah, bored. No, look around you. Looking at your phone technically is even lit. The fact that, the signal can be communicated to whatever device, computer, phone, TV, that you can consume it. Just the unit itself is phenomenal, and it's I'm not saying to underappreciate it, but when you're not consuming whatever content, take action. Don't feel like you need to be given permission to go on these great adventures you've seen people do, and say logistically you don't have access to it. Create your own adventure, because you've been desensitizing yourself through watching other people do things that are your future goals, that are amazing. You've put them on a pedestal more so than your own life, and you may be like, well, I don't have what I can use to achieve there. Well, then do something else to start to raise your own self-worth back up to where it's above whatever media you're consuming. That spectatorism gives you that lack of permission. You become permission seeking. You're waiting for other people to invite you on an adventure, as opposed to being the one who generates the adventure, the one who's always on an adventure, the one who sees their whole life as an adventure. And that lack, that gap that you're creating, not only from conditioning yourself, but desensitizing yourself. It doesn't even have to be externally. Say you're like, oh, well, I guess when that adventure comes to me, then I'll be able to go on the adventure. Oh, when I get the resources, I'll be able to go on that adventure. You've desensitized yourself and caused yourself to need to seek permission to enjoy your own life. This spectatorism is so toxic, and it's not even an intentional thing that I'm sure you're not trying to live with the goggles, as I like to say, of spectatorism. You're not watching it like, oh, well, I'm watching it for enjoyment. So why is it conditioning me? And why am I getting desensitized? And why am I now permission seeking to go on adventures? Well, it's the repeated exposure from that conditioning, watering down your self-worth, making you say, oh, I'll be happy when I'll be able to go and achieve this and experience this eventually. Throws it into your mind as a future projection that's not attainable by you now. Thus, you're now desensitized. You're like, well, I can't achieve it. I've projected that that's so far away. I can't experience a single adventure now. When in reality, you could. You've just, put it on such a pedestal above you from watering yourself down that now you're permission seeking. You're now looking for other people to give you the go-ahead to make the moves to have fun. When in reality, the power is within you. You have it in your hands, in your environment. You're just choosing not to use it, choosing not to execute. Settling for less. And settling is horrible. Think if you get enough, and say you're not really, you're content with the way things are, and you're not really trying to go outside the box and go on jungle safari, go skydiving, go have a girl's trip to Hawaii or to another exotic location. You're not trying to go clubbing right now. You're just consuming media for your own just pastime, for your own enjoyment. Well, why are you willing to settle for digital imagery of excitement, enjoyment, fulfillment through them? Like, why are you willing to settle? Like why isn't a pastime for you? I'm having fun in the day and the life of me. This is my adventure. I'm not spectating other people's adventures. I'm living my adventure and maybe peeking into their adventure, taking a second to go see what they're up to, as opposed to dwelling and getting sucked into the hours of consumption. And you may be like, oh, well, I'm not settling, I live life. Well, why are you settling for less? Why are you putting the people's experiences as more, satiating than going out there and doing it yourself? And you may not follow people avidly. It may just be whatever comes across, but that repeated exposure, that conditioning, it's going to set in and cause you to end up settling for less, because you'll be like, oh, well, I can't achieve it now, but I see it all day. Like an advertisement. You're choosing to spectate the advertisement of other people living life instead of going out and taking action to live your own life. I don't know what else to say. You're literally just there consuming digital media of other people living life instead of going out and living your own life. And it may not even be of other people living life. It may be, like I said, like a movie, a show, just like a video where it's not necessarily documenting someone's life, but you're spectating like, oh, this foreign place that I've never been. Oh, this fictional world that's been created. Why aren't you going out and living life instead of consuming? Now, spectatorism, it puts you back in the background of your own life instead of pulling you to the foreground of your own life. Spectating, engaging, taking action. Spectating, living life, not dwelling. It's you just choosing to value your own life's experience over spectating other people's experiences. Spectating just content that other people created. I keep saying other people's experiences, but it goes far deeper than that. From pictures to movies. That bird just reminded me, like, oh, Peter, this bird, nature. So many things that can pull you out of your head in your environment, like that bird. I love using the 5 senses to help, get myself out of a spectatorship mindset. Sometimes think of what I mentioned with spectating, putting yourself in the background versus, engaging and taking action, pulling yourself to the foreground. A lot of times I'll use getting out of my head as the goal. Obviously, that's getting out of your head is fundamental in many different ways, but when you're spectating consistently, oftentimes after, I'll have been on a social media platform watching a video of some sort, I'll be like, oh, well, because I was precariously living through the validation of stimulus that I was getting, the dopamine from the video, I'm in my head now. And even as I'll be watching content or consuming content, I'll always, do checkpoints. I've grown the habit of that mindfulness to be like, you're in your head. And then I'll even enjoy the content more, because instead of being pulled into it and just stuck with blinders of, oh yeah, I'm watching this video, I'm able to, step back, not fall into the background, but step back from consuming and be like, oh, I'm taking the action of consuming. I was stuck in my head, just overstimulated by all that was coming at me through the device. And now, I can sit back, I can chill for a minute and still be engaged. So using the 5 senses is another way that I'll pull myself out of my head. I'll be like, that bird. Oh, wow. What am I not paying attention to now that's happening in my life? Because I'm looking for that ideal adventure, that higher level of stimulus to come at me that I've been conditioning myself to desire through, being a spectator and consuming a lot of media. So things I see, I'll try to pay attention more. Oh, wow, that rock, that stick, there's a bug. The different ways the light is hitting the tree versus the grass versus that building. The sounds, the breeze, the siren, cars, the birds, the feel, my feet, the clothes on my body. I'll be like, wow, I'm tasting some fresh air. The scent of the air. The fullness of a breath as it moves through my body. So many things that you can use to just in your immediate, in a second's notice, the sounds of that snap, even the action of me creating that snap, pulling me out of spectating, looking for that heightened sense of stimulus to hit me from somewhere, and instead just pulling from within. Wow, my life, my adventure. I don't need to spectate. I can go take action, I can go live life, and I can enjoy myself now. without needing anything else. Being able to disassociate from that social conditioning of, oh, look at this media, consume this media. The watering down of, settling for less because, oh, I'm not at that ideal thing that I was just consuming, Now I'm in my ideal world, my world. Aware, conscious, present, enjoying me being myself. Letting go of those thoughts of, oh, I could be happier when, from consuming all that media that made me think that my life is any lesser than anybody else's life experience. And then I'm here in the now, enjoying myself, back at it again, away from spectatorism, not desensitized to my own life's experience. Another way that, spectatorism kicks in is that you've given so many people the glory through the media you've consumed. Oh, wow, they've achieved this. They've done that. They've gone on this adventure that I've watched. I've seen them overcome obstacles, and you get invested in these characters that you see portrayed. You get invested in these people whose stories you've watched, and it kind of sets the bar high where you may feel like, going back to that point of desensitizing yourself, that, wow, it's easier for me to, watch them and root for them and precariously live through them than it is for me to get out of my comfort zone, to really go and take action, take massive action, to go do something that I would see as enjoyable as watching them do this. And it kind of, takes yourself off that pedestal and separates yourself from, feeling like you're entitled to it, when in reality, to take massive action is just to take right action, to have fun, to not be that permission seeker, but to, feel like you deserve that glory, to give yourself that first step. Wow, I enjoyed this. This is my adventure for today. I can find this more fun than sitting at home watching Netflix, than sitting on my phone instead of engaging in the environment that's around me. You need to take yourself and put yourself in the frame of the one who deserves all the glory of the experience. Not that, wow, you're rooting for that person, you're feeling it, you're invested. Invest the same amount. No. Invest more into yourself. You should be investing into yourself, pouring into your cup all day long. You shouldn't let that consistent exposure to, oh, wow, this grand adventure, oh, I'll be happy when I can go do that. Experience that girl's trip to exotic beach destination, that epic girls' night out, squad goals, photos. No, that adventure may come, may not come. But you need to stop. Wow, they're squad goals. No, your squad goals. You yourself are the adventure. You don't need other people to be able to carry you to that state of enjoyment, of fulfillment of life. You're spectating, thinking, being exposed, like, oh, wow, I'm not that right now. It's going to take energy, effort. I'm going to have to get out of my comfort zone, do some things to get to that goal. Maybe you're watching something that's not even achievable in your mind. You're giving that person more value than yourself. Wow, that person's doing it. They're doing it big. This character being portrayed in this movie, wow, this huge scale adventure. I'm engrossed. Wow, this is what life should be. This is what I love my life to be. Just oversaturated. Going back to that desensitizing, you're not giving yourself the glory. You're just sitting back like, wow, it's easier for me to give this person the prestige. To wow, they're living the best life. I'm just chilling. I'm enjoying watching them live the life. I'm enjoying watching this story play out. I'm enjoying just scrolling through. Experiencing the different spikes of emotions that come, the dopamine, the adrenaline, the just instant gratification. You're giving all these people more enjoyment of watching their lives than you are of living your life. And it's easy to do that, easy to fall into the habit of that, like putting the prestige on someone else. Because it takes the burden off yourself to judge yourself for not taking action. It takes your mind away from, oh, well, I don't want to feel bad because I'm not taking action. I don't want to really accept that I'm not living life and that I'm having more fun watching this media. You've really sunk into that spectatorism. Really, 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 really. But it's okay. It's easy. You have to just give yourself the permission to have fun. Really. Take yourself onto the top of the pedestal, off of whatever lower pedestal. Put yourself right there. You're here. Media you consume is just like a little sprinkle on ice cream, a little cherry on top. It's not the whole life experience. It's just something to, enjoy in passing. But when you've given so many people these epic stories I've followed, things I've seen, you're not giving yourself that glory. You're sitting back being like, oh wow, they're entitled to it. They can have it. I'm not. I'm gonna just be here chilling. I don't have to take action. If I go out and try to do something and I don't meet that prestige that I've been aspiring for, then that's on me. Then I have to beat myself up. I have to feel bad about it. I can't, feel satisfied. I can't feel like I'm enough because, I've projected so far these goals. These experiences are like peak. What I can access now isn't peak. You've really, really, really let that spectatorism get to you. To not be able to enjoy yourself in your own body, doing you, being so stuck in your head. So stifled. Just why would you set yourself up? Why would you play yourself like that? Don't. Give yourself all the entitlement. Give yourself that permission to have fun, to take action, doing small things, but valuing them as the highest height of life's experience because you're experiencing in that moment. There'll never be another moment again like that. You could try to replicate it, but then again, that's a whole completely different experience. Why try to live for something that you're trying to equate to something you've consumed, spectating, like, wow, okay, that's what this experience should be like. No, your life's experience is how it's going to be. So give yourself, take the glory away from the people who you're watching. It's cool to feel invested, to be bought into something, be engaged within the media. But at the same time, step aside, give yourself more self-love so that you're not stuck in spectatorship, just watching on the sidelines, waiting, just things passing by you. No, you want to be engaged in your own life's experience. Really taking action, not judging yourself for what accolades or what heights of stimulus you receive. Just have fun. It's okay to have fun. And that's pretty much the baseline. Baseline is fun, not hard to achieve. But if you're consistently falling into spectatorship, like spectating, living huge chunks of your life, consuming media, it's just hitting you, your eyes just overstimulated, your ears overstimulated, your brain overstimulated, taking you away from the richness of life's experience that you can have. So give yourself that permission to have fun. Go have fun. Don't fall into that spectatorship. Pull yourself into the foreground. Don't let yourself slip into the background. Don't judge yourself either. It's easy to put the judgment on a group. Like, oh, they failed. Haha, the adventure went that way for them. Oh, that horrible thing happened. That's tragic. But it's easy to judge them because it happened to them. Their adventure went that way. Oh, this is awesome. Their adventure went this way. I feel good for them. I can judge their success, what they did right and wrong. I can almost feel like I'm in the adventure, spectating it. But then you're slipping into a dangerous tract of, not necessarily precariously living through people, but you're judging the people who you're watching, the stories you're watching unfold, the media you're consuming, the quality, the enjoyment level. And then in turn, going back to conditioning, it's conditioning you to do the same for yourself. If you're sitting there judging the content, the quality of everything that you're seeing, you're like, all right, goggles on. Do I like this? Do I not like this? How does it make me feel? What are they trying to portray? Are they successfully doing it? Where's the story going? Oh, I would have taken it this way. Is this picture HD? Oh my gosh, what's going on? Like, you're judging, which then causes you to judge your own life experience, the things that you see day to day. And then it comes back at you when you go into your own life and you have in the back of your head that like life's experience that you saw played out, and you're like, wow, my life isn't like that or like that or like that. It's kind of bland. It's just me being me, the same me I have been every day. Wow, I'm not that cool image I saw. I'm not living that cool life I saw. I'm just here. I'm not in some fantastical, amazing world, fictional beyond compare of my mind, beautifully portrayed art. It's just me seeing the same things I see every day. That's toxic. Toxic. So, spectatorship can be poison dripping. You're just watching, consuming media. You may not even be judging, just consuming. But say you're looking at standard, at quality, not harshly judging, but just, favorable, unfavorable, favorable, unfavorable, slightly favorable, passable, negated, I want it. Whatever value you place on it, it's easy to judge from a side. And then you start to think that things in your life aren't enough because you're starting to compare it to other things that you saw digitally. So spectatorism can hit you from many angles, many different subtle ways that it creeps in and drips a little bit of negativity. You think, oh yeah, no, I'm critiquing this that I'm seeing. But in reality, it's like, oh yes, consume more media of things that you're not doing. You're not taking action, you're spectating. Yes, continue to spectate, continue to judge, dripping bits of poison into your cup as you consume content. But then, like I said, when you go on to your day, you've trained yourself through the habit of judging whether things are lit, not lit, pass, fail, favorable, unfavorable. That now you start to see your whole world as that. And I'm not saying you shouldn't curate your world. You should have firewall defense. You should have bubble around you. Don't let things in. Stimulus. You got, what's that joke called? Boundaries. You got standards. I'm not saying to not judge. You want to curate your life. But why is it that your default will then be skewed to judgment instead of acceptance, non-resistance, enjoyment, being satiated by the sounds, the sights, the tastes, the feels, the scent of just your regular life, as opposed to like comparing it to some spectated heightened experience that's been etched into your memory. You will live the littest life that you let yourself live. Going back to giving the people in the content that you're consuming more favorable, enjoyable life versus yourself. If you give yourself that permission to go have fun, to go do things, to, be enriched by the little things, you take yourself away from being able to, overlook the little things. You start to bring them into your focus instead of putting yourself into the background, run by all these thoughts of media that have been going through your head, that you've been consuming, the impressions that it's had on you. And when you start to, check your blind spots, see where you're viewing yourself as less favorable than your favorite Netflix series. Why is that character's adventure more or less amazing than your own? When you're scrolling through your social media and you see girlfriend's fun photo shoot that she did outside, some plants, in front of a building that was cool. Why isn't your day going to be the same? Less favorable. That video of that party. Wow. Easy to judge that group and, but are you going out and having your own party? When you start to check these blind spots and see where you're comparing yourself to other people, comparing yourself to other experiences that have been documented, comparing yourself to other content that's been thrown at you, then you're aware. Self-awareness is so crucial to, disassociate from the spectatorism. That I'm sitting watching, only satisfied if it's some content that piques my interest. Then when you go into life, Oh, I'm sitting watching, only satiated when something favorable hits me, waiting for that stimulus. You gotta catch these blind spots. Catch yourself, training yourself through self-imposed social conditioning or self-imposed conditioning or through social conditioning, Don't limit your life's experience by getting more enjoyment, lowering and watering down your own life's experience based off of what you've consumed when you're spectating media. When you do raise that self-awareness, start to be able to curate in real time and audit those blind spots. Whoa, I was tripping. I don't need to watch Nat Geo to enjoy nature. I can enjoy nature right now. I don't need to go on some safari. I can enjoy a walk. This may not be as exciting and prestigious as you've brainwashed yourself into thinking based off of the spectatorism. But you're slowly catching those blind spots, auditing, and then really realizing the fullness of life that you've been sleeping on this whole time. Because you've been spectating, putting yourself in the background, letting the media push you further and further back, as opposed to taking action, going out there, actually living life. Not being a spectator, but being someone who's engaged in their own life's journey. And that self-awareness, that auditing, that getting out of your head, that taking action, massive action, right action, having fun, giving yourself that permission, that's all you need. Just shut it off, get out of your head, go take that action. Don't let the spectatorship, oversaturate, over-influence, water down you. You're the greatest you that's ever existed because you're the only you. So don't play yourself. Don't let these external stimulus, consistent exposure, take away from your self-awareness, take away from your enjoyment of life. So we've gone over spectatorism in the form of social conditioning that it imposes on you, limiting beliefs. Talked a lot about the watering down of your own life's experience by being desensitized. We've talked about the application of putting the glory on other people, precariously living through them, not giving yourself permission to take action, becoming permission seeking. We've talked about the taking action, taking massive action, right action, having fun, another one. Living and auditing as you live, and actually living as you and enjoying living as you. We've also talked about comparing, judging, not only the media, but how that in turn comes to you judging yourself. And we've also talked about the depth at which you can enjoy life just in the moment, just through your five senses and stimulus. And that's, I'm sure I hit many other subpoints, but those are 10 reasons right there why spectatorism is toxic, why it's limiting your life's experience and taking away from you being you. Now, you just need, all in all, simple answers. Shut everything off. Shut it off. Steal your mind by not oversaturating yourself with all this external impressions, all these external, stimulus. And not to say completely do it, but just take more action. Live more of your day for yourself through your own experience, not through viewing other people's experience. Because technically that's still you living life, living through your day. But consume the media without goggles that are going to be oversaturated, throwing more filters, more lenses, which you'll then carry into your regular life and be using those same goggles. Like, wow, I was thinking this was going to be a lit day, but I just came out of Netflix binging, and now, I wish I was Netflix binging again because it's not as lit. Don't fall to those traps. Watch yourself, audit yourself. Great actionable step. Don't let the fear of missing out, shout out Real Social Dynamics, Luke, that FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't let that hit you through all the media you're consuming. So don't let that FOMO kick in. Don't be precariously living through other people's experiences, sitting in spectatorism, just, getting sunk in, limiting, dwindling, watering down your own life's experience. Really just take action. Disassociate from that judgment, and bring yourself into the now. Get out of your head. Find fun in what you're doing. Don't wait to have other people invite you out. Just go out, do something, have fun. Any form of taking action to get yourself out of the habit of, settling for less, not viewing your own life's experience as the fullest, most epic adventure that you could possibly be on, is limiting yourself and falling back into the habit of spectatorism, waiting to, seek someone else's adventure. When you start to, put more value on other people and seeing how they're living life and what's going on in their world, or how high the standard of living could be, or how epic the adventure could hypothetically be through whatever form of media you're consuming. You gotta also check that. Make sure you don't put other people, other experiences on a pedestal above yourself. Never, 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 never. And check yourself. Check those blind spots. Get in the habit of auditing. Oh, well, okay, now I took those prestigious life experiences off. Now I took some action today. Oh wow, I'm a lot closer. And not to say a limiting belief that it'll take time for you to do that. You may have a paradigm shift. You may be like, whoa, I've been sitting back in spectatorism this whole time. I see the blind spots. And you could just, in a moment, just pull yourself into action, have fun, and then never turn back. Never resonate with that version of yourself again. And really be in the now. Be the best you that you could be, because you're actually finally living for yourself, not judging yourself. So check those blind spots, take other people off the pedestal. And then, like I said, don't judge. It's another great thing, a crucial thing. Don't judge. Don't judge at all. It's easy to judge other people. Oh, they took the right action. They took the wrong action. This was entertaining. That wasn't entertaining. But then, that habit of judging other people causes you to judge yourself. If I'm judging that, then I judge everything. Those goggles of judgment, they don't leave you. You may be like, oh, well, I think highly of myself. But yeah, like I mentioned, there are blind spots. You may be judging yourself. Like, oh, wow, well, now I need to unfog that goggle. Unfog that goggle. Now I can see a bit clearer now. Oh, wow. So it's easy to judge people, judge media. But, you want to take yourself away from that. You don't want to be dwelling. You don't want to be overthinking. You don't want to be in your head. You want to be satisfied with who you are. You are enough. You've put people on prestige, put experience on prestige, knock them down. Put yourself up there. You're first, before anything else, above everything else. Take that massive action, have fun, get out of your head, and do things. Do things. Consume less, do more. And see how that approach to life will change your experience of life. Instead of spending an hour consuming some media, you'll be spending an hour taking action. Then you'll feel good about taking that action. You'll have a reference experience under your belt. Oh, I took action. And then from there, you'll take more action. And say you took action and things didn't work out. Oh, well, woe is you. Are you going to choose to see the positive in the fact that you actually went out and took action? Or are you going to be dwelling? Are you not going to be the hero of your life's adventure? Or are you going to wait to be the hero? Comparing yourself. No time for that. No time for that at all. You got to eradicate these limiting beliefs. Really push yourself to the next paradigm. Taking that action goes a lot deeper from the reference experiences. It fundamentally shifts your brain's focus. Like before, you were focused selectively on, wow, these specific things that I've consumed. I've been spectating these things, consuming. Now you've done. You've created. You've taken action. You've experienced. Look at that. You're cementing a foundation for a new approach to life. And you may be like, well, I do things every day, but how aware are you? How conscious and present are you when you're doing them? When are you fully in the moment, non-judging, no filters added into your perception? And it's never going to be completely no bias, but why are you ever comparing? You should never fall back into that comparing. Taking that action gets you out of your head, puts you into an upward spiral, like I mentioned, of more action, more wins, more great reference experiences. Shout out Real Social Dynamics. That upward spiral ain't no little game. That's that exponential growth. Thinking of that J curve, a couple small wins, then that multiplier effect comes in, and you just start exponentially climbing in your wins, starting to disassociate from that spectatorship that you were in. You're actually living it. You're now don't even need to feel the pressure of documenting it, but the fact is that you're not living in that world of where you're comparing yourself to something else. You're working towards action, working towards adventure, being satisfied with you day to day, who you are, living that life, feeling fulfilled, using that to then feed into yourself, to pour into your cup more positivity, more great reference experiences. And reference experience is king, is nothing else can compare to the solidified knowing that you did it, that you were out there, you made it happen. Tangible, actionable, impressionable, that destroys any old view that you could have had of, oh, well, I'll be happy when, because you took action and we're happy now. So much of life to enjoy. So much. Internally, through your five senses, your experience. Externally, through the stimulus that you can receive. Wow. Taking that action just shifts so many levels of the experience. It's crazy because, like, you may be like, well, the comparison is that all that digital stimulus etching into your brain these memories of things that you've seen versus you actually going out and experiencing and taking action to get out of your head, to get away from those things that have been etched in your head and replace them, put in the foreground of your focus your experience, your adventures, all the great things that you can do, that you have the power to do right now, as opposed to projecting into the future. Oh, I'll be happy when, judging. Oh no, now's not good enough, it could be better. No, you won't fall into those traps anymore because you'll be taking action. You won't be resonating with consuming as much media because you'll be having more fun doing, being, as opposed to watching other people, watching other creations, just consuming for your own satiation. Like I said, hopefully you have a paradigm shift. Hopefully you'll be catapulted out of your head and into taking action, away from spectatorism and into the fullness of life's experience, because it's in your hands. Like I said, so many other ways and directions that this could go into, and there could be more depth brought up about each of these points, but this is just like brief overlay intro into how to get out of your head, how to take that action, how to step away and disassociate from spectatorism and come into the now of living your life in fullness, unstifled, never settling, crushing it, taking action, taking massive action, having fun, and really being you without anything else, and being okay with that, having fun with that, and then using that momentum to go forward and take more adventures, build more wins, get that upward spiral going. Wins. That J curve, exponentially success, positive reference experiences. Like I said, when you start to view it as negative, why are you viewing it as negative? Catch those audits. Your default isn't negative. Even if something doesn't go your ideal way, your default shouldn't be negative. That's just you in reaction. Something implanted in your head through your spectatorism made you think that things aren't good enough the way they are. You may be feeling some unease or discomfort, but all in all, was that the whole chunk of your life's experience, or was that just a temporary moment that passed? Are you going to dwell and focus on it like you were dwelling and focusing on the conditioning of the media you were in? Or are you going to be able to let it go and really get back on track to enjoying life as you, unstifled? Still auditing as you go, still catching those blind spots, being able to dismiss things that don't suit you in your path. But the point is to get that action going. Hey, it's cool to consume media, like I said, but what filter are you looking at the media from? How is it impressing upon you? Where are you being conditioned? Where are those blind spots? Be aware. Be aware when you consume media of any form. Don't become a spectator. Don't become at the whim of the influence that's coming at you. Be grounded. Be centered in you. Know you. Be aware of what influences you so that you can become a more grounded you. When you're grounded, you're supposed to be unshaken. Nothing externally should be able to sway you, change you. You should be centered. So when it comes, you're just letting it pass. Unfazed. You're watching. You're not being taken away by it. But I have all faith in you, all the faith that could possibly ever be had in you. I have that faith in you. You have all the tools you need. You have the awareness. You can take action, and that's all it is. Out of everything, it's just taking action. You could either experience someone else taking action, experience the documentation of some other creation, or you could go out and create. You can go out and have your own adventure as you, not judging you based off of your spectatorism, not push back, pulling yourself in, really experiencing the fullness of life and all it has to offer. Just take off those goggles. You may need to pry them off because they may have been stuck there for a while. Gone. Whoa, can see a lot clearer. It's like going from 144p resolution to 4K. It's like, whoa, I can enjoy every little bit of everything that's around me. The action I'm taking is enough. I am enough. Yes. So start to retrain yourself away from spectatorism. You won't resonate with that anymore. You'll be taking action. And that new you, that grounded you, that you that knows you are enough, it's going to carry you so much farther. So have that power. Use that and change the experience of life even right now. Go forth and conquer. Go forth, have fun. Go forth, take action. Don't just consume. Do. And remember, don't judge when you are doing. Just have fun. That's all it takes. Click, shut it off. Go have fun.